Hello and welcome to the Tuesday Talk Show with me, your host, Yvonne Gorman. This is series 7 of the Tuesday Talk Show, episode 2. The Tuesday Talk Show is powered by my very own business, Essential Print Services, based on Pride Park in Derby. But enough about me. You're here to listen in to the plethora of advice from the one, the only, Stuart Ross. Hello, Stuart.
Good morning, Yvonne. Great to see you again.
It's great to see you again. Stuart and I have known each other for what I worked out the other day using LinkedIn as over 15 years.
Wow.
That's just like, where has the time gone? It's absolutely incredible. Stuart, tell people listening or watching back at the office, live or on catch up, who you are and what do you do?
Well, my name, as you say, is Stuart Ross. And first and foremost, I'm a business coach. I help business owners, particularly those people with established businesses, go and scale their businesses easily and also, importantly, enjoyably as well, making sure they avoid all the errors and the challenges that a lot of business owners have. Because, running a business should be easy. It should be fun.
It should be enjoyable, like you say. And 100%. I think that's the bit that people, and I know within my network, many of them are striving to get to a destination that they don't actually know when they will get there or how to get there. And then you get to 10 years in business, you think, oh, I really should have enjoyed that more. The enjoyment bit is the journey rather than the goal. So that's really interesting that you've mentioned enjoyability, because that's really, really important.
So and just building up, well, you mentioned that, success is not a destination. That is the challenge. A lot of business owners say, I'm going to be successful when I've achieved that. But when you get there, what happens? You've already raised your goals. You're never going to hit that destination. So exactly as you say, Yvonne, it's about who you become along the journey. You've got to go and enjoy that journey.
And who you bring along with you for the ride as well.
Oh,
that's
100%.
Really important. Yeah, absolutely. So how did you get to working for yourself, Stuart? Tell us about that briefly, your career. Where did it start? The passion for helping other people grow their businesses?
Well, if I was to start from real scratch, my career originally started actually in lingerie. Yes, I used to be a lingerie buyer. When I left university. For those days, it was the Burton Group or Debenhams, and for a year I spent buying lingerie before being headhunted to go and join Boots. So I spent about 14 years in Boots, heading up a lot of the buying and merchandising areas. I used to head up Boots lunchtime. I launched Boots on the actual website. I head up some other health and beauty areas. So a complete mix of roles. I was really fortunate to have a real strong foundation for my career. I then left Boots and then worked for a company called British Land, where I was MD of a joint venture company, which I scaled up for them. Then when we sold that business off, I spent 6 months coaching the board of British Land before really finding my passion, which is around coaching, helping other people sort of be successful. And so I took the leap out of the corporate world and into setting my own business and following my passion about helping individuals realize their potential.
What were your personal circumstances, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, again, don't go into too much detail if you don't want to. But some people do think that you have to find some sort of investor, or you have to go into debt to start a business. What were the risks that were at stake when you took that leap of faith? Did you have any dependents at the time, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I was married and I had how many children? 3 children actually at that time. And like anybody leaving the corporate world, you've got a certain runway of money which will help you for a few months to go and help you sort of get up and running. More the challenge, I mean, I was fortunate because I had that runway sort of in place. But more the challenge is jumping out of the corporate world into the total unknown. And there's never a good time to go and do that. People always think there's going to be a good time, or I will do it when. The important thing is, if you've got that passion or you want to go and try something different, just go and do it. Just go and take action.
Yeah, our previous guest on episode 1, Estelle Reed, she mentioned, I think she procrastinated for 2 years before taking that leap of faith. I mean, that's incredible. And now she there's no looking back. So having a think about the people that you have helped, Stuart, how many do you think there's been in your coaching career? Individuals, businesses, that sort of thing?
Interesting. It's one of the stats which I do measure. So the businesses I've actually worked with in total from when I started is about 720 businesses.
Whoa.
Yeah. But one of the other stats I do is also the number of businesses or people that I've actually what I call touched, or in terms of helped, or they've exposed to my books, my knowledge, my blogs, etc. And as of last count, up to 550,000 people around the world, I've managed to touch with blogs, courses, ebooks, etc.
How do you feel about those numbers?
Fantastic. Yeah, for me, it's a great privilege, and it's about sort of getting the message out there. And really, as I said right at the start, it's about making people go and enjoy that journey.
Absolutely. So there's been a turbulent time as this show airs. We're trying to crawl our way out of this pandemic. What have you learned about yourself over the past year?
That was a really good question. And there's a couple of things which really sort of hit home. The first thing is the old adage, who you mix with is who you become. And part of the challenge, particularly as you've gone through these difficult times, there's been a lot of sappers out there, those negative people, those people who have taken a lot from you, but given very little back. So part of it is about limiting my time with those individuals and spending time with individuals who inspire me, which energize me, which help me go and move forward. The other thing, which is I guess a big one for last year, partly links to goal setting. The purpose of goal setting is really to go and set almost a point of where you want to get to, but it's also about how you actually feel when you go and achieve that goal. Very often, people plow ahead and they ignore all the other opportunities which come, into their life along the way of achieving that particular goal. One of the key things I think I learned last year is almost be open to the opportunities. Be clear on just how you want to go and feel when you hit that destination, when you go and hit your goal, but be open to how you go and get there. It's not black and white. There's a lot of gray areas and a lot of other ways that you can go and achieve that same emotion, the same feelings that you could do, when you actually set that original goal.
I think we've had a conversation before, you and I, about thinking how you're going to feel once you've achieved something.
Exactly.
And when I did that exercise by myself, I realized that that wasn't the thing I actually wanted. So it was a really powerful tool to not only think, right, financially, what do I want to do? Where do I want to be with the business? But if I do achieve those things, what does that mean? How's it going to make me feel? So yeah, that's definitely a really good top tip. For those watching live, well, send in your comments and questions. We would love to hear from you and give you a shout out. Equally, if you're watching this on catch up, send us a comment and question and we'll definitely get back to you. Stuart, now we're going to go to a section all about your advice, trying to squeeze out all the juicy information, all the top tips for making our businesses awesome, helping them to grow and thrive. So thinking about all your clients that you've helped, what has been the common theme in terms of what people struggle with? And most importantly, why do you think that is? And how do you help them overcome it?
Okay. I think one of the biggest challenges is when people go and start up a business, they're very much in the mode of proving they got a business that works. So therefore, they're in the mode of doing everything, bootstrapping their business, making sure their customers are happy, doing the product development, doing the HR, doing your finance. You try to do everything and stuff yourself. When you move to scaling businesses or a high growth type business, it requires a very different type of leadership skill. And I think one of the key things where it all starts when you go scale a business is with you as a leader. So I think one of the key challenges that individuals have is how they go and transition who they are and become more an effective leader to allow that scale up to happen easily.
And if that person isn't a leader, I mean, sometimes, I don't know about you, Stuart, but there are some people out there that you think you really shouldn't be leading that squad. If you're a business owner and you identify yourself as not being the best person to lead, what would your advice be to them?
My advice to them, would be, if you're not the right person to go and scale that business, bring in somebody else. Stay in your zone of genius. Stay in that area which you are really your superpower. I call it as well. That's where you're going to have most benefit to the business, but also you're going to enjoy what you're doing, even more. So, how do you go and stay in that part, but then bring those other people around you to allow the business to go and scale?
And not to be afraid of hiring someone who's better than you, who's cleverer than you, who's better at your job than you are. I think that's a really hard one for a business owner to get their head around. But if you can hire
100%.
and invest in them, then invest in the best, because they're going to be the ones to help you grow and get to where you want to be.
100%. You should always be looking to recruit people which are better than you, which can go and grow your business. That's how your business is going to go and grow. You've got to be outgrowing, your competitors at a greater pace. And I think the number one job as an MD, as a CEO, or somebody who owns a business, is have you got those right people on the seats, the right people on the bus to allow that business to go and scale, where you want it to go.
From a small business owner's point of view, especially when you're taking on your first few employees, the prospect of having someone, sitting potentially next to you who is much better at those sorts of skills than you are, what would you say to someone who thinks, well, if I take someone on like that, I'll be afraid that they're going to take my business off me, or they're going to start their own company? What sort of advice would you give them in that respect?
I think there are three bits of advice. The first one, I would say, remember, as a business owner, you have got to be growing faster in your business. So one of the key things you need to be doing is always learning. And that learning can also happen by those people which you go and employ. So, importantly, learn from them. You need to change that mindset. Secondly, you need to have the ability to go and let go. A lot of people, when you go and recruit individuals, they get frustrated because the owner isn't letting go of what they should be doing to that individual, because they don't quite trust that individual. So the sooner you go and let go and find a way of letting go which is comfortable, your business will really go and fly. I think the third thing, and this is what I say this many a time, and I say this to every business owner, the question you should be asking yourself on a daily basis as a business owner is not what you need to do, but what you need to go and stop doing. Because the only way that you can go and move forward and create that time for you to go and work on the business is if you stop doing stuff. And that stop doing, would also pass on to those people you've employed. So who do you then go and delegate to allow you to stop doing, so you, again, spend your time in your superpower?
Definitely. And I know that when I get to the breaking point where I realize and recognize I need to take on another member of staff, I ask my staff and I ask myself, start writing a not to do list. What are you doing in your day-to-day tasks that you really shouldn't be doing at your level, or you think someone else would be better off doing that? What takes you the most time? What's zapping you? And what things don't you enjoy doing? And that then becomes the job role for the next person that I take on. And that's always
100%.
worked really well.
And one of the exercises I get, which builds on that with clients, is what I call the love and loathe list. So what do you love doing? And what do you loathe doing? Produce a list of that stuff. And the loathe, somebody else will probably love doing that, exactly, those roles or those individual things. So again, that's where you need to, exactly as you say, recruit somebody. And
I know many people don't like chasing money, where I absolutely love it. Thankfully, I have amazing clients who pay me on time. But if there was a few that slip through the net, I just love an excuse to chat to someone, establish a relationship. And because it's the business owner, chasing that money, you do get a much better response from them as well. That's what I think anyway. We've got a comment here from George Buchanan from Hodsop Priory. Hey, Yvonne and Stuart, it's George B listening live from a cabin by the sea in Scotland. Enjoy the journey is the best mantra. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you, George. Amazing. Stuart, what would your advice be for someone who wants to start a new business, a brand new business? What sort of tips would you give them?
Firstly, the first tip is what you said earlier. Don't procrastinate, just go and do it. There's never going to be the right time. to go and start a business. So just go and take action and go and do it. Secondly, I would say get a mentor or a coach or somebody who can walk alongside you as you go along that journey. You go for a mentor, somebody who's been there, who can share their knowledge and willing to go and help you. Importantly, go and reach out, to those individuals, because they'll make your journey a lot easier. And lastly, I'll say also begin with the end in mind. Be clear in terms of where you want to get to, whether it's a year, whether it's 3 years. What are you moving towards? Have that destination, have that vision about what you're trying to go and achieve. Just getting those basics and stuff in place, will really go and set you on the journey for a successful business.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more. The common theme from most of the episodes when I've asked my guests that question, it is just do it. There's never a good time to do it. Just got to take that leap of faith. Question about the mentorship, Stuart. Is it better to find a mentor within the same industry as you, or would some complete different industry give an entirely different perspective? What's your opinion on that?
It depends on the individual, but I mean, you need almost that advisory board around you, and that advisory board may include a coach, which could be totally separate from the industry, such as myself, which is totally agnostic, but can help you go and think through those challenges, but also getting somebody within the industry. And there I'd also encourage people to go and reach out to people which you've never thought would really go and help you, but will go and offer advice. So I had a couple of clients who've reached out to people who are running FTSE 100 companies, CEOs there who were willing to go and act as their mentors or go and have a meeting and stuff with them. So reach out to those people who really go and challenge you and really go and help them and really go and inspire you to move forward. But again, that's more the technical side as well.
And what's the worst that could happen if you do reach out to these people? They say no. I think some 100%. People are so afraid of the word no that they don't reach out to people. So yeah, that's fantastic advice. Right, Stuart, what are your top tips to help business people with their year ahead?
Well, let's build on that last one about sort of reaching out. I think first thing I'd actually recommend is who are those top 25 relationships that you need to go and develop over the next year, which will enable you to accelerate your journey and get further faster. Yeah, so who are those top 20 sort of five people? Secondly, I would say, continue to be flexible and be agile. Yeah, in today's world, particularly with the chaos that's going on around, the more nimble you are, the more flexible you are, the more agile you are, the more you're likely you'll be able to take opportunities. So again, be flexible and be agile. Thirdly, I would say make sure you build in time each week for time to think. That think time is so critical. 30 minutes where you think and work on the actual business. You think through challenges. So you're not reactive, but you're being proactive of how you want to go and move forward. Then, I would say also make sure you are always learning stuff as well. So make sure you've also got that time. As I said, previously, those individuals, need to be growing faster than their team, growing faster than their company. So what are you doing to make sure you are learning to surround yourself, with those right individuals? But, lastly, I'll say, don't be afraid to go and stand out. Go and do something a bit different. If you try to follow the actual mass crowd, you'll always, be lost and stuff in the crowd. So what can you do this year which will really make you go and stand out? Be very different to your competitors, out there.
Well, that's something that I do, I think, very well.
You do.
Doing things slightly differently. The reaching out to 25 contacts, Stuart, any top tips on how to identify who are those 25 people? Who should they be?
No, so this comes from a guy called Regis McKenna. Regis McKenna was one of the top marketing gurus in Silicon Valley, and he's worked with likes of Bill Gates, Intel, Steve Jobs. And when Bill Gates was asked that question, he said, "Well, that's the smartest question anybody's ever asked me." The tip I'll say, be clear in terms of who you want to be, who you're becoming, and that destination over the next year. Yeah, and then saying, right, who are those individuals who can really go and help you, but also encourage you to go and reach out to people which you never thought, again, would actually go and speak to you, to help you go and do that. So I'll give you an example. One one of my goals a number of years ago was, for example, I wanted to go and connect and stuff with Richard Branson. Yeah, I haven't got any direct contact stuff with
why
him.
not do that?
Yeah, but he's like reaching the top of the game. So okay, and one of the people I had in my relationship was a guy called Joe Polish, and Joe Polish is one of the ultra connectors and stuff in the world. But I ended up sort of reaching out to him, developing a relationship with him, and as a result, yeah, within 6 months, I ended up being invited to go to Necker Island, and there's the exclusive crowd of 20 people, yeah, to go and spend a week with Richard Branson. So yeah, it's strange how all those things can go and happen. Yeah, if you go and put out there and you're clear in terms of who you want to go and connect with, who you want to spend time with.
I bet that put you back a few bob, didn't it? Getting to Necker Island.
Well, strangely, okay. Truth here, I didn't actually end up going because the actual cost of it was about $30,000, and for that at that time, yeah, that was. Although it was relatively cheap in terms of what it actually was, at that time I did not have the resources in place, or not willing to spend the resources to go and make that happen. But hey, it sets as an example in terms of at least I got invited to go and spend that time with him.
And I think that the moral of the story there is, don't just connect with the people that you feel most comfortable with. If it feels uncomfortable reaching out to someone, then you're probably going in the right direction. That's, from my experience, the most uncomfortable things is where the magic has happened. And you're like, oh, but if I hadn't have pushed myself to do that, I would have never have got X, Y, and Z. So it's just phenomenal how powerful that is to do.
And the other important point is, you don't have to go directly. Yeah. So again, you can go, okay, who else do you know who knows this person? Yeah, so again, be smart about how you're going to connect with the individuals.
And not being afraid to ask for it as well. I think most 100%. Of the people who know us, Stuart, we've come from a networking background, and you and I have probably you've got thousands and thousands of contacts between us. And it surprises me that when people approach me and I say, well, have you looked through my LinkedIn connections? If you've got anyone on there you want me to introduce you to, then let me know. And no one does it. No one does it. So, you're either hungry for it or you're not. I'm not going to, we're all time poor at the moment. I know I am. I haven't got time to search through my address book and hand it to you on a plate. If you want something from me, then show me you want it, and I will help you. I will definitely help you. One question that I wanted to add in just for you, Stuart, just from my own curiosity. From your business coaching community, you could think regionally or worldwide, whatever you want to do. Who do you admire the most and why?
Yeah, it's a really, really tough question. I mean, to me, I answer this in two ways. So one is those individuals, clients I've actually worked with, which achieve amazing things. I mean, that's part of my sort of community. And again, I'm full of admiration and stuff for them, just their commitment, their persistence, their determination, and to move forward. I've been blessed to have some amazing clients and work with, amazing sort of people. On the other side, I would say, okay, from the coaching community, the people which I continue to admire are people, for example, like Tony Robbins. So yes. I was fortunate to spend some time with him when I started off, in coaching. And again, he's somebody who's remained at the top of the game, and again, totally committed and stuff to his purpose, despite everybody going to trying to knock him off. Right the way through, to people like Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Work Week. Yeah. Phenomenal, person. I'm privileged to meet him a few times, but again, one of the most humble people, and an amazing podcast to go and listen to, and some real insights and stuff.
Tribe of Mentors book is always at the side of me. A fantastic book just to dip in and out of.
But yeah, right the way through, to people like Jay Shetty, Vishen Lakhani, all those individuals, absolutely stunning and amazing individuals, which produce content consistently. For them, I would say, it's not about the money, it's about getting a message, and those people which truly, truly, truly stay on purpose. Yeah, it's not about their ego, it's about, like, let's stay on purpose, let's go and do some good in the world.
And they've been consistent as well.
100%.
Especially Tim Ferriss, you do get the impression that he is still so just as motivated as he was before, taking his own advice. But thinking about Tony Robbins being the first person you mentioned there, Stuart, does that mean that when you're doing coaching or talks, you jump on a trampoline before you go on stage?
Unfortunately, I live in a barn conversion, and I tried the trampoline inside. I ended up smashing right now.
Yes, we've all seen the Netflix show, haven't we?
It's true, but where it's interesting, whether you talk about your Tony Robbins, your Vishen Lakhinis, your Tim Ferriss, they all have routines. Yeah, they all have routines on a daily basis to make sure they get into that right mindset. And one of the key things which I'm very passionate about is making sure you have that morning routine, in place to ensure that you are at your peak condition to go and start the day, the best mindset and physically in the best place you can be. And for me, that is something I've done for the last 10 years or so. Every morning, the first hour, whether it's exercise, etc., etc. I've done that to actually make sure I'm in the best state and stuff for the clients and those people I work with on a daily basis.
And if there is a time when you don't do that routine, how does it make you feel?
Oh, you know it instantly.
I bet.
You feel it. You feel it.
And I think we can't finish the show and talk about morning routines without mentioning Miracle Morning. That's a book that is phenomenal, and I'm not condoning getting up at 5 a.m. every morning to start your routine like the book suggests, because for me there is only one 5 o'clock in the day, and that's the PM. But it does make you think about, if I get on the rower before work, even if I can just squeeze in 15 minutes, it makes such a difference. And recently I did a kilometre on the rower on the hour, every hour, because I was working from home that day. And to get off the rower and know you've only got like 55 minutes until the next slot, focus my mind, like laser focus my mind. I got so much done that day. It was incredible. Now, that's not sustainable. I couldn't do that every day. But I think every month at least I will do that, because it does focus me phenomenally. It's just bizarre. So what's your biggest challenge right now, Stuart?
My biggest challenge, I'm about to launch a new book called The Scale Up Leader, which will be launched, next week. So my biggest challenge is about getting that sort of book out there and selling that book. So if anybody, I'm probably going to do a couple of days, which we'll send it to your listeners and to people in terms of where we'd rather do it at a much reduced price, get it sort of out there, and then take it forward from there.
Definitely let us know when that's available. Are you having like a book launch event, or is this going to be an online thing?
It will be an online thing. It will be an online thing. It won't be a book event, but we will do. So I'll make sure there's plenty of warning before we actually then go and launch it, so people can go and download it.
Well, we're coming up to the 30-minute mark, and as always on the Tuesday Talk Show, time has absolutely flown by. Stuart, where can people find you? Where can people get in touch with you and reach out to you?
Just go to highgrowth.com. Yeah, that's the easiest route, or alternatively my LinkedIn under High Growth, or Twitter under High Growth. So again, all channels under High Growth.
What about TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
I'm not on TikTok yet. No, that's something which I have got to explore a bit more. But if I go to any channel, I want to make sure I do it consistently. I just don't have time to actually work through that one yet.
Consistency is key. So we're going to wrap up the show right here. Thanks to my very special guest, Stuart, for his time today from High Growth. I'm Yvonne Gorman. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have enjoyed the show, there are plenty of other episodes on the Tuesday Talk Show YouTube channel. Make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive alerts for the next video. Ding, ding. So that's me, Yvonne Gorman from Tuesday Talk Show, going back over now to Stuart Ross from High Growth for his final thought, please. Over to you, Stuart.
Okay, my final thought, building on what we've said, is, for top performers, success isn't about having any more challenges. It's about upgrading the quality of the challenges you face.
Wow.
So always look to upgrade the quality of the challenges.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Stuart. I've really appreciated it. I hope everyone's been watching this live on Catch Up and enjoy it too. And we'll see you soon for the next episode of the Tuesday Talk Show. See you later. Bye.
Bye.